Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Riverside Sports. I'm Lonnie D'Angelo, and today we'll take a trip through the action-packed football world of the St. Louis Attack. All right, here we are at the home field of the St. Louis Attack, the Family Arena. Home to the Attack since March of 2014, the Family Arena seats nearly 10,000 fans for football games and is used for a variety of other events. Let's head on down to the gridiron and see where the Attack play. The St. Louis Attack have been practicing and playing hard since joining X-League Indoor Football for the 2014 season. By adopting outdoor rules for an indoor environment, the X-League's playing style will give fans an experience at Attack games unlike any other. Up in the front office, the Attack have displayed great community pride by partnering with several businesses in the greater St. Charles area. Although the Attack have busy schedules of practices and games, we were able to get a chance to chat with quarterback Brandon Walsh, owner Andrew Haynes, and head coach Chris McKinney. First, we'll have a chat with Brandon, quarterback for the St. Louis Attack. Born in Columbia, South Carolina, Brandon played football for both Richland Northeast High School and Presbyterian College. While at Presbyterian College, Brandon made quite the impact when he set the school record for passing yards. So let's meet Brandon in the locker room and see what's going on. How are you doing today, Brandon?
I'm doing great. Thank
Good,
you. Yes.
good. Glad to hear that.
Thank you.
So, how does it feel to be playing your first season of professional football with the St. Louis Attack after spending a large portion of your life playing quarterback in high school and in college?
It's certainly, I have to thank God for blessing me with this opportunity. My faith is something that's really important to me, and obviously I have to thank the organization for giving me this chance. So it's really exciting to be here and to be able to play football.
Good, awesome. You've spent the majority of your playing career in your home state of South Carolina. What's it like playing football in a new city here in St. Charles, Missouri?
It's awesome, actually. It was a different transition coming from the South to the Midwest, but all the people here are really, really nice. I don't know if I've heard y'all yet, but it's a great area. I really like being here. So
good. Yeah, you'll hear it a few times here and there.
Right,
I'm sure.
right, yeah.
It's not as popular.
Yeah, right. It's sprinkled in, right.
Can you tell me a little bit about the Attack's locker room chemistry, where a lot of the players are playing together for the first time? What's the difference between this locker room and other locker rooms that you've been a part of?
Well, I think the main thing about this one that's really stuck out to me is the fact that it already feels like a family, especially me not being from here. And a lot of our guys are local. It felt like they accepted me. And it's really fun to be around them at practice, just being around them in general, especially in games. And, it's really awesome. And I'll say that it's more of a family type atmosphere than it has been, in college. Because in college, everybody's trying to take your job, But here, it's just, we've got a smaller roster, so it's just been a blessing. It's been a great experience, and the locker room is fantastic.
Well, that's really good to hear. Good. Can you tell me a little bit about yours and the Attack's process for putting together plays during a practice and then implementing them in a game?
Sure. Well, what we do is, I guess the beginning of each week, we watch film on the opponent, and prepare a game plan based on what we see as far as what the defenses are running, as far as coverage and how they line up. But we see that, we create a game plan that we think can attack their weaknesses and just run those plays and try to get them until we can't mess them up. So.
Sounds like a good plan.
Right, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Now, during your time as a quarterback in high school and college, most of the games were played outdoors. What's the biggest difference you've noticed between playing outdoor football and playing in the X League, an indoor league that incorporates a lot of the outdoor rules?
Well, I think the best thing is you don't have to deal with the elements. There's no rain, there's no wind. So if I can't make a throw, then something's wrong with me. So that's obviously something that is really exciting, knowing that I don't have to go out here and worry about the ball being wet or having to throw against 30-mile-an-hour winds. There's none of that here. So it's great. It's a great atmosphere to be able to play indoors, especially as a quarterback.
Great,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, you've put a lot of dedication into your craft as a quarterback. Who would you say had the biggest influence on you as a football player throughout your life?
As far as my family goes, I'd probably have to say my dad. My first word was ball, and from then on, it's kind of always been sports oriented, whether it was baseball, basketball, football. But my dad played a big part. We'd always go out in the backyard and throw, he was so proud of me in anything that I did. But my dad's he's always been there for me. And he means a great deal to me.
Fond memories.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
What can we expect from you and from the attack in the near future?
Well, what you can expect is for us to give it our all. Every time we step out on the field, we expect to win, and I think that any competitor should feel that way. But we're like I said earlier, we're a really close-knit group, and we work hard, we prepare well. And we've got a talent, and that's also something that can help bring in a championship, which is obviously our goal.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Brandon. Thanks
you
for
for
talking to
having
us, and good luck with everything in the future.
Thank you so much.
You're
I appreciate
welcome.
it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Now we're going to talk to the Attack's owner, Andrew Haynes. Before working with the Attack, Andrew had started over 30 minor league sports teams in football, hockey, and in basketball. He runs the Attack through Missouri Sports Holdings, which works with a variety of different professional sports teams. He has stayed very active since starting his first business at the age of 19 and is very involved in charity work. So let's meet Andrew in the Arena Club and see what he's up to. Hi, Andrew. Thanks for joining us today. How are you doing?
Good, thanks for having me.
Good, of course. So take me through a typical day as the owner of the St. Louis Attack.
Well, let me just say it's never the same day. There's so many different avenues with the team that we do, and with a small staff, we all kind of pitch in everywhere. So, I usually arrive in the office between 7:30 and 8, and I focus primarily on sponsorship sales and marketing with the team. But I'm usually in the office from 8 to 6, 8 to 5. 5-6 days a week, and I have to deal with the league stuff and then all the local stuff. So it's definitely, it changes every day, which I love. I think if I was doing the same thing every single day, I'd go crazy. So it's never a dull moment. There's always some drama out there in minor league sports, but I love what I do. I love waking up, getting to do what I love, and I look at a lot of people, my parents or other people that are in the same jobs for 30 years or whatever, and they're just in a grind. I love it, so I look forward to it. I don't consider it work.
Yeah, it's fun to do something that you like as work.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
So I understand you also worked in a number of different business capacities since you were 19 years old.
Yep.
How does your experience in those other roles help you in your current position?
It's helped a lot. I've started my first business when I was 19. I didn't go to college, so I think I'm the only one in the office who didn't graduate from college. So I got some smart people around me at least. But I started my first business at 19, and I've always had a passion for sports. And when I was younger, I was more about the money, chasing the money. And as I got a little older, I kind of focused on, what makes me happy, what do I enjoy doing. And so that's kind of how I got into sports. I got into sports maybe about 20, 21 years old, and just have progressed through. And, being a small business owner, I grew up, working class family, middle class. And so I wasn't born into a lot of money. Everything I've had to do, I've had to create. And so it's been challenging at times, and I've had some great successes, and I've had some really horrible failures. And I think the failures are really what have helped me learn the most. I relocated to St. Louis for these ventures, and one of the things I did in my younger years, I traveled a lot. We owned businesses all over the country. I was a president of a couple sports leagues, so I had to travel a lot. And now I'm kind of at that point where I don't want to do that anymore. I want to stay home.
Over the years, you've started a large number of minor league professional sports teams, many of them through Missouri Sports Holdings, the professional sports ownership group that runs the Attack. What interests you most about working in football, and what's the difference between working with football and other sports?
Yeah, I think football is my first passion, sports-wise. So, I played football, I've coached football. I think that's my... I think I know everything in football, which I don't, but that's what I think. That's the first thing. But I really love sports in general and entertainment in general. So it's a lot of fun. You just, either one of these sports, whether you like soccer or football, you can't come out and not have a good time. It's just, I challenge somebody. Come out. You won't. But the big difference is I do a lot with players as well. So Coach McKinney, we focus, I work with them directly on player personnel. So most of the contracts, I deal directly with players or agents. And so a big difference is just the attitude or, the tone of players. A perfect example is our locker room. A lot of our staff was like, man, it's just a different atmosphere. And it really is. And the players, they do things differently. Football guys tend to be, they stretch together, they warm up together, they do more things together. So it's really neat to see how the teams gel and work together, because they gel, but it's in different ways.
Tell me a little bit about the league, the Attack play in, the X League, an indoor football league that is looking to innovate the sport with a different set of rules.
Well, there's been indoor and arena football for 20 or 30 years now, and we just kind of got tired. We got at a point where it's like, we're tired of doing the same thing. And we said, let's shake things up. Let's kind of take a leap out and make it more exciting for the fans. And some of those rules are, the defense can score points with, a turnover on downs, interceptions, the last minute of play, points are double. It's a real exciting brand of football. And the thing we wanted to do is give fans a reason to stay the entire game. So if you're winning by 20 points, in that last minute, you could easily have a comeback. So you don't want to leave early and miss the excitement.
Can you tell me about the process that goes into the Attack's promotions, including the in-game promotions that occur during breaks and play?
Well, we try to make it fun, like I said, for non-football people as well. So we want to get the fans engaged. And a lot of times we do promotions so that we can get the kids involved and active, or just fans in general. So we basically come together as a team, front office staff, and we come up with what promos we're going to do each game. And a lot of times we go to outside groups like dance or cheer teams for entertainment, and sometimes they'll do it as a fundraiser. They'll sell tickets and to raise money for their organization, and they perform. But we try to do as much as we can to give that entertainment value, and we got to keep the kids occupied. And as a parent, I know if I take my kids somewhere and they're running all over the place or not behaving or not paying attention, you're not going to go back. But if the kids are having a good time and they're not tugging at your shirt the whole night, you're going to have a good time. You're going to want to bring them back. So that's kind of what we try to do, and we try to keep it where the music is playing a lot too, so that it's just constant entertainment.
Yeah, keep it fun and family friendly.
Yep. With outdoor football or outdoor sports, a lot of times, there's more dead time, more downtime. There's not much going on. So to really attract the kids, and we really market to families. we have to make sure it's entertaining.
Absolutely. What do you hope to ultimately accomplish as the owner of the St. Louis Attack?
I really want to just bring a good quality, affordable family event here. And, if you come out to the games, you really see that there's a ton of kids. And, we relocated here. This is our home now. And, we want to be part of the community. So, we put on a good show, and then also we like to give back in the community, and we like to participate in community events and other events with youth and nonprofits. So we have such a unique way that we can reach people that a typical business maybe couldn't. So we really want to make sure that we have a positive impact on the community as well as, just the fans that are coming out here.
Great.
So,
That's good to hear. It's good to hear. Well, thank you, Andrew. Thank you for joining us, and best of luck to you and all that you do in the near future.
thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And last but certainly not least, we're going to have a chat with Chris McKinney, head coach of the St. Louis Attack. A graduate of Guilford College in 2003, Chris was a standout player, winning the All-American Award 3 times and the All-Conference Award 4 times. Following college, Chris played for the Florida Firecats of the AF2, where he consistently ranked amongst the top wide receivers in the league. Right before joining the Attack, he worked with the Philadelphia Soul of the AFL as a wide receiver and special teams coach. So let's meet up with Coach and see what he's up to. Hi, how you doing, Chris?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Thanks for joining us today.
Anytime.
Good. So, how did you find out about the Attack? What interested you most about them as a head coach?
I found out about the Attack because last year they were the Missouri Monsters, and I actually coached against them when I was coaching the offense coordinator for the Georgia Rampage before I joined the Philadelphia Soul coaching staff. And I knew about Andrew Haynes because he was the owner of the Tarpons team that I helped coach back in 2012 when we lost the championship to Cincinnati. So I knew Andrew, I knew the ownership, and it was a good idea. I think in my career with coaching last year, I think this was a good step for me.
Good, great to hear. You've gained a lot of experience in outdoor football, both as a player and a coach. What's the biggest difference you've noticed in coaching indoor football with the Attack versus outdoor football, especially in the brand new X League?
Well, I think the big difference is the size of the field. Being 50 yards instead of 100 yards and being half the width also is the big difference in indoor and outdoor football. Also that we play inside the arena, which is nice. We don't have to deal with the weather, things like that. I think the big difference is how fast the game is, how quick it is. Everything happens so much faster in this game than it does in the outdoor game, and I think that's the biggest adjustment that the players have.
As a coach with the Philadelphia Soul of the AFL, you won the American East Conference.
That's right.
How would winning an X League championship as head coach of the Attack compare?
Well, with Philadelphia, winning the American East and winning the American Conference was a big feat, and getting to the championship was a great thing. I think winning the championship here in the X League would be the biggest part of my coaching career to a point. I think it would be. I think it'd be a great thing for the city and for our team, young players.
Yeah, absolutely. Serving as the head coach presumably presents a heavy workload, both in terms of scouting players and ultimately coaching them.
That's right.
How involved are you in scouting players for the Attack, and can you tell me a little bit about that process?
In scouting players for the Attack, I'm very involved. We have a guy named Brent Burnside. He helps that we used to play with. I used to play with in the AFL, and also used to help with he was the coach of the Tarpons that Andrew owned, and he helps out with recruiting in the southeast area. I have recruiting that I do in Atlanta area, and I have a couple guys here that help with recruiting here in the St. Louis area. So I'm very involved in it all day long on the phone, all day long emails. So it's very hard. It's not just coaching X's and O's, recruiting players. It's kind of like being a family counselor, and a football coach and their father all at the same time.
I can imagine. Which coach would you say had the biggest influence on you, both as a player and as a head coach?
I think as a player, my coach that had the most influence on me was my high school coach. His name was Coach Wolf. And I think he instilled, being on time, accountability, and how to be a good young man, because when you're a kid, there's a lot of different ways you can go. And I feel like he was a good father figure for me. Professionally as a coach, Coach Clint Dozell, the head coach of Philadelphia Soul, he was He was my coach when we played for Dallas and when I was in Florida playing for the Firecats, so in the AFL. So I really think that professional-wise, Coach Dozell is the kind of coach that I would like to model myself around, and since he's like a father to me, you know, I think he's the most influential coaching figure that I've had so far.
Great. They both sound like great role models.
They're great men. Both of them are great men.
You started coaching with the Attack in their first season, where a lot of players were new to the area and were getting familiar with each other and meeting each other for the first time. What's different about coaching a new team compared to working with one where most of the players are already familiar with each other?
Well, I think it's harder coaching a new team where guys, because when you coach a team that's been together for a while, they know each other, they've been with each other, they know what each other's going to do before they do it. It makes things a lot easier to work with. When you have a new team, you got to gel all those guys together. You got to get everybody on the same page. And it's not like it's harder, it just takes a little more time. It takes a little more teaching when the guys haven't been together more. When you got a group of veterans, you don't have to teach them as much. They know what's going on. I think here it's a lot more teaching, so that makes it a little more difficult, but I like it and it's good.
Great. What can we expect from you and the Attack in the near future?
I hope nothing but good things. We're going to play hard, we're going to give 100% effort, and we're going to try to make the city of St. Louis and St. Charles proud of us.
Great. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today, Chris.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you in the near future.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Riverside Sports. Thanks for joining us today and exploring the great football that happens here on Riverside Drive. Don't forget to check out the Attack for yourself, and we'll see you next time.